Alright, we've done a few different things. Specifically, we've done 2 runs with Lupino, 2 runs with the Dark Evil Iblis Stone, but only 1 with the Skyripper so far. I believe last time I was conservative and careful and cautious and researching and everything, so this time, I'm gonna be reckless with the Skyripper and see what changes.
Every child knew about the Skyripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces deep. And then, this Emperor's horrific sacrifices had brought it back to the surface. Reynardo wasn't exactly sure how to use the legendary weapon. But surely, there must be some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the Earth? It was more than Reynardo could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
Alright, let's try not to blow ourselves up for once. Seriously though, we've found so many ways to die.
As he set foot on the island, Reynardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lupino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Reynardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Skyripper? Reynardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Skyripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
So we're almost maxed out here. We have level 3s. Oh wow. We only have 2 level 2s left in the entire thing now. And how about our weapons to review? We have 2 level 2s left. We just have 1 level 3 I'm sorry, the level 2 is the maximum for these. We have 1 level 1 left, so yeah, 2 gem upgrades and 71 ore, and then we're done with the entire progression system as far as I can tell. I'm thinking more and more I might just stop playing once I reach the ending. I could keep exploring story paths to some extent, but I feel like the gameplay might stagnate too hard to make it feel worthwhile at that point. Because I can't help but notice that the upgrades are going to completely fall apart.
Say goodnight, Gracie, said Reynardo, wondering who Gracie was.
And if we run out of upgrades, I get the feeling the game's going to also upgrade. Well, at that point, have expended all of its gameplay mechanics. Because why would there still be new enemies to add to the game if the player was already able to finish their entire progression system? Here we go. Give me that shield. It's mine now. Oh, that's bad. Oh, we got some attention there. Excuse me. Gotta work. Just gotta wail away at your upgrade, people. Oh, I see you. There we go. Oh, I thought I was ready for him. My bad. Got him. Ooh, perfect counter. Satisfying. There we go.
There had to be a way to use the Skyripper without causing a catastrophe. Why? Maybe it's always dangerous, he imagined Zenobia saying. Always the voice of reason, that one. Well, there had to be a way to use the Skyripper because not being able to use it was boring. So there.
I always forget how fast I got from the previous playthrough. All those upgrades finally. The truth behind the Skyripper is shrouded in a thick fog. The most believable tale is that the Transcendent Emperor had used the Skyripper to banish Iblis. Then, the TE buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile, to rid the world of the last divine presence, or was it the price to pay for using a tremendous power? Could the Skyripper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? My rituals will summon the Iblis Stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also call the Skyripper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resources to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is an invaluable bargaining chip should the old ones decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try. But gods are predictable, and I can rely on that, as to always be one step ahead. Emperor Isengrim III, Secret Journal.
If only he had some way to break the ice. Or convince it he was a friend.
Break the ice. Well, turns out I have a little tool for the ice powers. Let's go ahead and heal up a little bit. Die, pottery. You are my ultimate foe. Can I charge through these? Oh, I can. Let's do that forever. That's satisfying. Oh, I see the buff worms. Hup. Buff worms must not be allowed to escape or buff. Whew, that was close. There we go. And we got away clean. Hello, chest.
Reynardo remembered when he'd first stolen one of these. Good times.
So we got one more gem, so that we have one left then in the entire game at this point. It's just green, huh? That's just what we start with. I think it had to be upgraded to open those doors, but I'm not even sure if that's true. It's been a while. Hello, stealth section. Oh. Oh. Excuse me. There we go.
Anyone ever tell you have a lovely eye? No?
Clears the air rather quickly. Friend, bye. There we go. And we are clear. Oh, I see that guy. Where'd he go? Did I defeat him in one hit? Oh, wow, I missed both of those, huh? I really thought I had them. Those would I know. Oop. Off with that shield. Done with that nonsense. There we go. Attack that, huh? That's one way to counter somebody is just to dash clean through their entire body like Kasumi from Dead or Alive.
Ah, a puzzle. Reynardo loved puzzles. Except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Just doing a brief check for some sort of chest being around the corner. Alright, well, I solved that in the fastest possible way. Whoops. I thought I had a vague memory of it, but I couldn't remember necessarily how it was solved before. Hello. More. Alright. We have 65 to go. We're getting there. Might be able to make it in this run, I'm not sure. Maybe close. I figure this probably isn't the last run, because I would expect this to unlock the whatever you do to win. Or at least that's my logic. So I already have maximum speed. I could go for stamina. I could go for increased sword energy, which would be a bit nice. All sorts of options. There's so many upgrades. Damage hooked enemies. Dash through shield wielding enemies would be nice, but you need dash through enemies 3. Dashing is a nice ability. Stab people when you grab them. Kick and throw increased. Recover from being hit almost instantly, and the attacker is knocked. Ooh. And the attacker is knocked. How's that work? So you can recover from being hit and knock down your attacker. But I don't know if I activate that or if it just happens on its own.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
So it could go after Zenobia, which in this case is the decision that I haven't done before. But my plan is to go along this path just a little longer, get the complete Skyripper, but then diverge, because last time I believe I got research to figure out how it works. and instead we're going to be reckless and stupid with it. And I believe the skyripper is the one where you have a 1 in 128 chance of ending the world. And last time we were all reckless. We got all the research in the world, but then defied at the last minute because he was like, whatever, let's just shoot it anyway. But I'm going to see what happens if I make the skyripper, but then commit to the mission.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
And here we go.
Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the skyripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense?
Not especially. But I just looped on myself and went back in a direction. Whoops. Totally thought I was going somewhere else. My bad. I think we've gone down the well before, haven't we? I've definitely been down a well at the very least, so let's go try somewhere else and see what happens. Hi, chest. We're finding a lot in rapid succession.
This chest made music when you opened it. Too bad it was Muzak.
Oh no, not Muzak. How will we ever cope with such news? Onwards. Dear Zenobia, the director of the Academy has told me how much he was impressed by your academic performance and leadership. Somehow, I doubt this was a session of bootlicking. I have seen plenty of those. The old toad is sincere, and I am proud of you, my daughter, for you'll make a fine empress one day. On my end, great news. Professor Calaveras has been studying the Nexus, and he's made a bold observation. That toad is a true genius. You know how the island is unique. Each island is unique, constantly changing. New crystalline formations appearing. Island fragments merging, splitting, slowly drifting and held together by some invisible threads. Professor Calaveras is convinced that these changes are not random, but rather indicative of the living nature of the islands. He has observed that certain changes on the Nexus follow or sometimes precede a turbulence in another island, landslide, quake, flood. The Nexus seems to resonate with these events. Maybe the islands are a hive mind, and the Nexus is the brain. In any case, I am funding a permanent scientific observatory on the Nexus. It will attract the Empire's greatest minds. With Professor Calaveras at the helm, I anticipate a great age of enlightenment for the Empire. With love, Father. I committed to reading it once I had realized I had started reading it, but that was definitely not a new dialogue. Whoops. I was suspicious about the last one, but that one I know for sure was the one that I read before, which is a bummer. So it looks like so the dialogue in the game that the characters say is designed to not repeat itself, and that's part of the core story. But unfortunately, it looks like the oops, friend. It looks like the dialogue, the script, the books you find, the scrolls, they apparently don't have to be new. So I'll have to keep an eye out for whether or not these things are actually fresh pieces of story or if they're just repeated context.
The right jewel could really give you an edge. The wrong, well, it still looked pretty, didn't it?
Oh, I see you there. No surprises for me, alright? There we go. So I believe that's every gem in the game, just like that. All at level 3, at least. Friend, give me a little distance. Alright, we're gonna have to let's take care of the energy thing. Being pesky. Whoop! I see you. No sneaking up today. Oh, he fell off the map, it looked like. Didn't realize that was even an option, to be honest. Here we go. Oop. Dash. There we go. It's more satisfying than slashing at them one by one. But
I was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things. You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these had to be imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead. There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? He was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be. Yeah!
I feel bad a little bit because this is definitely a place we've been to a lot. But I am trying to unlock new story, and I feel like this is a path I can take.
If you can't stand the heat, he thought, stay out of the flamethrower.
I think this individual chapter might be my most played chapter in the entire game. Because even when I first went for the Ableist Stone, we still tried to pacify it with the core, so even during that we went after this dark core. Here we go. Yeah, good luck powering him up from the grave. Oh, come back here. No escaping. There we go. No powering up happening today. No! Ho ho! Just in time. That was the perfect time for that reflex reaction. Take a seat. Whoa.
Actually.
Okay. He did not take a seat. He disintegrated. Which is not what you'd expect bodies to do, usually.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus.
Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move.
There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Nope. Goodbye caution.
Reynardo had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the skyripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists, right?
Reynardo actually could think of a few things that were worse. But he would make sure they didn't happen this time. Right?
Exactly.